Hey there, this is Rick. I hope everyone's having a great day. This is just sort of a natter about cameras. Over the years that I've been making YouTube videos, I've sort of acquired various different cameras and microphones and things, and I just thought I'd go through some of the equipment that I use and maybe have a little bit of a natter about it. I've got no script and I've got no real decent technological knowledge about this stuff, but I can kind of impart the stuff that I have found out basically through experience. So I mentioned in my last video, but I'll mention it again. What I use for a microphone, because one thing I have learned about making any kind of video production is sound is absolutely everything. Without decent sound, you've got nothing. You've got, the last thing you want is amazing visuals, but people straining to hear what's going on. That's just not a good combination. So, literally for the last year or so, I've been using an over-ear mic. I'm currently using one now. This is what an over-ear mic looks like. This is just basically a generic microphone, and it obviously hooks over your ear. And then this particular one, I think this was a cheap one on eBay. It's basically a mono. So I've had to get a mono to stereo adapter, which is on a 90-degree angle, and then that plugs into a Zoom H1. And this is there's all kinds of different little self-contained microphones you can get now. Zoom make a whole range of them, the H1, the H2, the H4, the H5, the H6. I think they progressively go up in cost. This is the H1, and this is a really handy little thing. It costs about, I can't remember, it's about £80, maybe £70. In the UK, it's about $100. Sorry, in the US, it's about $100. It's really good for plugging mics into and just using as a recorder, but obviously, as you can see, it's also got built-in microphones. These are really susceptible to wind noise, so I mean, just kind of moving a mic around like this, you'll get horrendous wind noise in it, so you would need some sort of a fur thing. I kind of got one here, but they are a good all-round mic, high quality, but you have to bolt them onto some sort of a tripod or a little stand or something. If you want, say, for example, forest sounds, you'd need to whack them on a little stand like this, because if you use a big tripod, then the wind will hit the tripod and it'll resonate up through the bodywork, because this is a really kind of tinny, plasticky bodywork, and that seems to pick up and resonate what eventually sounds like wind noise on the actual recording. So personally, if I was going to use this for field recordings, I would use either a couple of these, one on each end, so it's completely immersed inside a furry sock. In fact, that's what I would do. I haven't got one. I've actually got a full size furry sock that I can use for this, but I don't use this for field recordings because I use the Zoom H2, which is the next one up. But these are handy little mics, and like I say, it's what I use all the time to record the sound picked up with this. Obviously, as soon as you plug this in, these mics are switched off, and so any sound that it records only comes from this microphone. But yeah, that is a really good setup. Obviously, the thing is, if I'm recording, I mean, I've got this setup going now. I've got two of these because if ever there's two of us that want to sort of do a video together, then we've both got a microphone. I've got the setup now. I've got the other H1 in my pocket, but obviously the video camera is recording the image and the microphone is recording the sound, but they're completely separate of each other. So whenever you do a recording session in this way, you have to at least film yourself clapping, because that puts a little spike on the audio recording profile when you put it into the editor, and then you can match that spike up with the moment your hands come together in the video, and then that way the sound is matched up, and hopefully my lips are moving at the right time, because obviously if you got out of sync sound, it's not very good. What else have we got? Let's have a look. Got all sorts of wires and things in here. Oh yeah, the Hero. Okay, this is the Hero 2, the GoPro. This is called a GoPro. There's also a Hero 1, and now I believe a Hero 3, which I haven't got, so I can only tell you about the Hero 2. Fantastic camera in so much as they are extremely wide angle. And I know a lot of people, when they see this, they think it looks like a little toy, and it's not. I mean, these are really expensive cameras. I think must have paid about, at the time, probably, I don't know, about £300 for one of these. But the picture quality is fantastic, really, really exceptional. The only problem is that kind of, I don't know if you can see the bow on the lens at the front, and that causes what they call a barreling effect. Now the thing is, this has 170 degrees of view. So basically, if you think 180 is completely out like that, 170 obviously just in a little bit, it will pull in all that information and put it on the screen. So sometimes things can look a little bit distorted. And also if you're hand holding this camera, it makes your audience seasick, because you kind of get this you're sort of bowing out sensation all the time. But this locked off on a tripod gives absolutely fantastic footage, and I do use it quite often down at the allotment or in the van as well. If I'm driving along in the van, I've got a little attachment up on the ceiling that this sits on, and you can literally look out of both of the side windows. It's like you're a passenger. So it's a really good camera. Now, I have subsequently learned that there is a new camera out that's not made by these guys. There's a very similar camera called the SJ4000, and it's considerably cheaper, but does pretty much a similar job. And I personally, if I was going to buy another camera of this nature, I would probably go for the SJ4000, because I think they're around 50 or 60 quid. So it might be a tiny bit more, but obviously, these are really crazily expensive. But that's definitely one I would recommend, but not as a main camera. I wouldn't recommend this as a main camera. Secondary camera, brilliant. So I would go for that one. What have we got here? Oh, it's a battery. Now this is a little camcorder. It's like a little tiny mini. It's like a palm corder. Look, the size of that in your palm. And if you compare that to the one I'm filming on, that's the one I'm filming on is huge compared to this. But I actually worked with this for about a year, making the RickVanMan, the Rick's Allotment videos, and I was really, really happy with the results I got. This is a full 1080i HD video camera. There's two types of high definition. There's 1080. Basically, in the UK, we work with PAL, and it's 1920 by 1080. That's the frame size. But the 1080, it's either I or P. I stands for interlaced, P stands for progressive. P apparently is better. I means that each separate frame is interlaced with the other somehow. I don't understand the technical bits behind it. But 1080p is progressive, and you actually got a full scan of each frame. And anything more technical than that, don't ask me. But this is what they call the HCV100. It's basically like a little... I would recommend this as a beginner's camcorder, and an intermediary one as well. Like I say, I did quite a few episodes of Rick's Allotment using this, and I love the fact that you can just slip this thing in your pocket. And I actually lent it to my sister-in-law the other week, and she went off and filmed the big Dorset steam show. And she got some great footage back. So yeah, I would recommend these. These are about brand new. They're about 200, maybe 180 now pounds, which would be about $230, $240. But I got this one on eBay. It was not a used one. It was a seconds. It was a returned one. I took a gamble on it. It was £100. And it has served me beautifully, and it has an amazing little optical image stabilizer. I don't know, let me see if I can show you this. I can turn the image stabilizer on and off. Right, the image stabilizer, I'm not sure this is going to show up, but the image stabilizer, if I shake just gently, you can see the picture is wobbling around. You'll probably get those little scan lines on the picture, but you can see the picture's quite like jelly-like. Now, if I turn on the image stabilizer, and I do that again, you'll see the image is pretty steady, pretty sturdy. And that image stabilizer is just optical image stabilizers have come on so well in the last few years. And like I say, like for example, this Canon, I'm going to show you a bit of footage that I took with this Canon. This is a bridging camera, and this is the Canon, I can't remember what it is, the Canon SX50HS. I actually originally bought an SLR, a DSLR. I was kind of quite intimidated by it, and I was a little bit disappointed with the pictures it took because they were very, very bland. I swapped over to this, which is it's got this amazing lens on it. It goes from wide angle right through to about 1200 telephoto, all in that built-in lens. It's got loads of filters on it, which takes some amazing pictures, but the optical image stabilizer in this is absolutely unbelievable. I'm going to show you a piece of footage now. I took this footage and I was hand holding. I was literally just kind of holding the camera in here, looking at got a little view screen that comes out, and I was literally doing this, just scanning, right, handheld, and you can see how steady that footage is. And I've also I've done some footage where I've been walking along, and I've just basically put a tripod on underneath, wound out a little length of the upper arm of the tripod, and then just literally let the tripod hang there underneath as like a counterbalance. And you can kind of walk along, and even if you point it out, it's almost as if you've got yourself like something, the equivalent of like a Steadicam, because the optical image stabilizer is so powerful. Honestly, I think image stabilizers within cameras over the next sort of 5 years is going to completely do away with the need for any kind of stabilizing equipment, because like I say, you just literally suspend a tripod underneath and just kind of let it hang there as a counterbalance, and you've literally got the equivalent of, say, like a Flycam-y type arrangement. So you know, it's going to be interesting to see how these things develop. But if you want if you want a camera that takes really good pictures, the lens, there is a problem with bridging cameras, all right, and that's the lenses are basically rubbish. They're amazing in so much as you can literally zoom in. I'll do it now. I'll grab this camera and I'm going to zoom in on. Let's switch it on. It's been a while since I've used this. I can't remember how to do it all. Right, I'm going to set the recorder going on here. Right, I'm going to show you. That's my back garden. Okay, and that's zoomed right out. Now I can literally zoom in on, let's say, the back of that little dog's head in the window there. That's a little light. You can zoom in so far. You know, literally, I can feel like the screen with that dog's head. Yet when I zoom out, that dog's head is just a tiny little speck in the screen. You know, so that's only optical. There is another option which will take you even further, which will be a digital zoom on top of that zoom. So that's pretty amazing. But the thing is, if you want to, there you go. Right, turn this off now. There we go. I think that's done. Is that recorded? Hope so. Let's turn it off. But yeah, if you want to kind of take a picture and then blow it up really big, you will get like a blooming around certain items, because the lenses, any cheap lens you buy for any camera will kind of give you a bit of a bloom on the lens, which is like quite undesirable. It's only the really expensive lenses that don't do that. But this is a very bloomful lens. I don't know what the term is. But if you can kind of see past that, then this is a really good fun camera, and it does take some cracking photographs as well. Just don't look too closely at the finer details, because like I say, the lens will kind of bloom everything and stuff. To be honest, it only blooms when you zoomed right in. If you zoomed out, you get a really nice sharp picture. But yeah, I'm quite impressed with this, and I would have another one. If this one stopped working tomorrow, I would buy another one. Because they are really good, and they're quite affordable as well. I think this was about £200, and for a proper quality camera, that's actually not bad by today's standards. So yeah, but I won't use that for filming, and you might notice from in fact, yes, I did have the image stabilizer on that, didn't I? I think I did. But I wouldn't use that for film. I've tried using it for filming before, and you just get this. It's just not very good. The video quality is just. If you want a camera, like a DSLR shaped camera to do video, I would probably get a proper DSLR camera. I wouldn't get like a bridging camera because the lens just isn't up to the job. I tried various ways of filming on that, and I just couldn't get the results I wanted. They were just all a bit too not right. So what else have we got in here? This is an old one, blast from the past. I haven't used this in a while. This is a Rode video mic. They've got a new model out now, which is much stumpier. But this is usually pretty good for, say, for example, if I didn't want to rig up this microphone setting, I could rig this up to the camera, the X920, because it's actually got a hot shoe fitting on it. And these are pretty good, versatile little microphones. It's basically like a shotgun mic. So the problem with camcorders is if you are going to film something that's any more than sort of this distance away and you're using the built-in mic, then the sound's going to be awful. If I was to just literally sit back here, the sound would be all kind of distant and echoey, and you'd get all the ambient sounds around as well. Whereas obviously this arrangement, all you're getting is my voice. But if I was going to be lazy, what I could do is plug this one on, because it's kind of got a shotgun mic, so you can actually kind of point it at the sound that you want to record, and it will record a fairly localized sort of area. One of the reasons, if you've seen in TV productions where you see the boom operator and they're pointing the mic down at the actor, that's basically because they're not picking up any of the ambient sounds. If you point the mic at the actor, you're going to pick up all the sounds going on behind them. So obviously if you point the mic down, you're only going to get the sounds within that localized area, which will be basically the actor saying whatever they're saying and possibly some footprints or whatever, or footsteps or whatever. So that's how these kind of shotgun arrangement mics work. But like I say, I could put that on the camera, I could sit right back, and the sound quality should be quite good. So they're kind of a worthy little investment if you're going to do that kind of thing. But personally, since I've started using this type of arrangement, to be honest, I don't use anything else now. I'm not really sure if I need to go on. Obviously, I'm going to talk about the X920. That was kind of a little bit of a dream camera of mine. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to swap over the cameras now, and I'm going to start recording with this one. I'll swap them over, and then I'll show you the 920. So I'll be back in a second. This way I have to stop the recording here, stop the recording there at the same time, and then restart. Okay, we're recording. Okay, so this is scene 2, take 1. Just put that in my pocket. Right then, so we're recording on the little Panasonic, and I'm going to show you. This is the Panasonic where are we? HCX920. Now they don't make this camera anymore, but this is a camera that I have coveted for about well over a year. Basically, I always go for the Panasonic brand. I've always had really good results from the Panasonic brand. Right back from my early days, I had a Panasonic NVGS 500 that saw me through for several years in my early years of YouTube. And that was basically a 3-chip camera. As basically, you have a separate chip for your reds, your blues, and your greens. Now, I don't understand fully, all about the technology, but basically, a 3-chip camera back at the time was pretty much a broadcast quality camera. And this, the Panasonic HCX920, is a 3-chip camera. It basically has three MOS, whatever. The MOS means chip to me, but it's basically got 3 chips. We've got separate chips for red, green, and blue, and it also has a Leica lens. Leica lenses are, as far as I'm aware, the best quality lens you're ever going to get for a camera. You put the two together, a 3-chip camera with a Leica lens, you're going to get the best quality you're going to get for a consumer camera. This is not a professional camera, it's a consumer camera. If you want to step into the realms of professional cameras, you're looking at kind of like £1,000 leap between this one and then the bottom of the rung of the professional one. So this is basically the top of the consumer level. But like I say, if you want to step over to professional level cameras, then you're talking big bucks, and there's simply no need for that, especially just on YouTube, because the way they crunch everything down anyway, you're not really gaining much, I don't think. But yeah, this is the 920. It's like I say, when this was in production, it was about £1,000. It was a lot of money. I managed to, I've waited, and they've stopped production on it, and then obviously the price came down, and that's when I jumped in and bought it. And so I got this like a lot cheaper than I would have bought had I bought it a year earlier. It's a basic standard camcorder. It's got all the features you'd expect from a sort of top quality camcorder. I'm not going to kind of go into all those at the moment, but basically it's got a full manual override. It's got a microphone socket, so you can plug in, for example, things like this. So I can actually put that on there. Obviously you got an issue when you're on wide angle, because you got these things they're going to be kind of leaning into the shot. However, there is a way around that, and you can use one of these platforms. There's a little platform thing that I use here, and I can place the microphone on one end like this. There's got a little attachment. Where is it? There. Oops, drop it. But you get the idea. But I actually prefer, for safety, rather than plugging this directly into the microphone socket on the camcorder, which I can do, I like to kind of take two shots at the can't think of an analogy, but basically I like to play it safe, and because if the batteries run out on this and you're still filming, you won't get any sound. So what I tend to do is I'll mount the Zoom H1 on there as well, and I'll plug this mic into the Zoom H1 to record the sound there. That way the Zoom H1 is recording the sound from the video mic, but also you've still got the built-in microphone on the camcorder working as well. So in an emergency, if the batteries run out on this, or this stops recording for any reason, you've still got a backup. It might not be great, but you've got something to work with. So that's the way I tend to do things if I'm kind of doing something seriously. But to be honest, like I say, most of my videos are just kind of dialogue through a little built-in microphone here. But again, if for any reason this microphone fails, say the batteries run out and I don't notice, usually I can't really get away with it on Rick's allotment because normally the camera's really far away, but usually you might be able to salvage something, like for example today, if this mic stops working, you're going to be able to hear me because I'm nice and close to the camera. But there we go. That's pretty much all the camera equipment I use. Like I say, this one is my main camera now, because I obviously you want to go for the best quality you can get, and as far as I'm aware, this is going to provide the best quality. Although the problem I have got is this is 50 frames a second, so my file sizes, the files that this thing produces, are huge, because usually I've been dealing with 25 frames a second. 50 frames a second is great because you can slow things down into slow motion and you don't get that it's actually quite smooth. But there we go. Anyway, I'm not going to go on any longer because this is all pretty dry stuff, or is going to be pretty dry stuff to most of you. So I'm not really going to bore you anymore. Like I say, I'm still trying to get back into the habit of making videos, and just putting something up once a week, and I'm just going to keep plugging away, keep stabbing away. Thanks for all your comments in the previous video. A lot of people just saying, Rick, we just like hearing the sound of your voice, and just kind of like, it's like catching up with an old friend. And I really do appreciate those comments. They're really nice to read them, and so thanks for those. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great rest of the day, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.